senators want their legacy to include disregarding basic health science and instead elevate conspiracy theorists.
That's Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon fulfilling one constant of confirmation matters. What is that constant? If you're the opposition party, you ask questions. If you're the majority party, you make confirmation votes on behalf of your president. And that's what's going on. That's what's been going on for the last couple of weeks, and that looks to be the path we're on for the remainder of this week and into next week. Specifically, Ron Wyden was asking that question about RFK Jr. His nomination is now moving later this week to a full Senate vote, as we've talked. I want to bring in Finn Gómez and Caitlin Huey-Burns. Caitlin's on the Hill. Finn is right here next to me. Finn, one thing I want to talk to you about. Yeah. In the RFK Jr., Bill Cassidy made reference to this. In previous, thought to be slightly jeopardized Trump nominees, one name keeps coming up. JD Vance was really important. I talked to the vice president about this. The vice president and I had several meetings about this. It becomes somewhat clear that JD Vance is trying to carve out a role as, if not the enforcer for President Trump in the Senate conference room, certainly the head of legislative affairs.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think when we have reported, CBS News has reported that JD Vance will have this prominent role, really a liaison, really a hammer, if you will, at times for the president with respective lawmakers. And I think you're seeing that impact here, and he is having an effect. I think one thing we saw today is also...
And remind lawmakers of the politics, the underlying grassroots politics about the MAGA movement.
Exactly, and if you don't fall in line, there might be political consequences.
No, there will definitely be political consequences.
To put it bluntly, yeah, absolutely.
And this is a big moment for RFK Jr. It's a big moment for this nomination. Cassidy's now on board. It looks like RFK is going to be confirmed.
It looks like and also
unless there is some very big surprise that we don't currently see.
I think the most turbulence we expected was going to be through the committees. Obviously, that didn't really occur. We talked about somehow the Republicans essentially caved in on certain issues there. We'll see what happens in the full Senate, but it does look better, a lot better for both of them.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, I want to bring you in from Capitol Hill because we have from our CBS News colleagues some very, very fresh reporting from two sources that the current deputy administrator of USAID has said that the State Department leadership, which has taken temporary control of that agency, essentially has ordered all employees in other countries doing USAID authorized work to leave by Friday. And if they have not left, they will be brought back by U.S. military transport. You were over at USAID headquarters yesterday. You interacted with several people who work within that agency. Did you have or encounter any fears that this might be the next step of all this?
Yeah, Major, when we were talking to employees, or I should say former employees of USAID yesterday, one who was a contractor noted to me that she was in the middle of approving a shipment related to HIV, addressing the issue of HIV in the country that she was working in. That just goes to show how abruptly things were shut down here and how this is having, real world consequences immediately. And Major, that's important because up here on Capitol Hill, you are hearing from some Republicans talking about the virtues of USAID, talking about the national security implications if anything happens to it. They are raising concern, but they're also applauding the idea of auditing it in some way, looking at cost-cutting measures, looking at ways to reform it. And a lot of this has been conceptual. Well, now you're seeing it not only as a concept, but actually being carried out. And so that kind of conflicts with some of the, support that we've seen from some on Capitol Hill among Republicans for reforming USAID, but also not wanting its mission to cease to exist. There's also a really interesting battle up here on Capitol Hill about the role Congress plays here. And, any sort of movement needs to be approved by Congress, and that's not happening. And so you have, this real world consequence happening here. But I should note that there are Republicans who are trying to thread the needle here, saying, look, we like that Musk is going after government spending, but we also don't want him necessarily to get rid of USAID. So how does that, figure itself out remains an open question.
And to your point, Caitlin, one could imagine a scenario where you can audit, you can look for ways to economize, but not pull everyone out of every country in which some assistance, whether it's related to HIV, whether it's really related to poverty reduction or other troubled zones of the world in which USAID operates. I believe it's up to 100 countries. You can economize an audit without pulling everyone out from those various missions.
Yeah, and I know we've talked a lot over the course of the past few days about what this aid actually does and who is actually benefiting from it. But there's also a national security element to this as well. Multiple lawmakers up here on Capitol Hill have noted that if the U.S. withdraws here, that opens up a vacuum for China, for Russia, for adversaries to come in and fill that. So that's where you see kind of this crossover support from Republicans here, but notably being cautious, being tepid in their criticisms or concerns about how this is all going down.
Cautious and tepid, Caitlin Huey-Burns says, Finn, would you suggest, or based on our reporting, would that fit with the overall House and Senate Republican orientation to the Trump agenda thus far?
Yeah, I would. I mean, and to put it, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, again, their beacon, their compass for their moves, emanates from one place, and that's
even if it means trespassing on congressional powers.
It is. And some have been characterizing these moves as unprecedented power grabs of presidential power. And I think, and you are seeing the sort of acquiescence of that on the Hill by some Republicans. But, if you look at the MAGA base and that MAGA echo chamber, Donald Trump Jr., for example, posting repeatedly on social media throughout the day of how great these moves are with USAID, how this is something that they wanted. They see this as a misuse of government funds with a liberal agenda. And I think for them, it's a political win.
And they don't see tremendous value in the projection of soft power, which is always the way this agency, which started under President Kennedy, Foreign Assistance Act, 1961, then an executive order created USAID. It has long been thought of as a way for the United States to soften its image and to use humanitarian efforts to improve not only its real-world consequences, alleviating poverty, HIV, things like that, but also burnishing its image.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at some of the State Department numbers, they say 20.6 million people's lives have been saved since the advent of PEMFAR, for example.
Under George W. Bush,
yes,
right?
Under George W. One of his marquee, accomplishments. But I spoke to a senior USAID source repeatedly since this began, and these folks are just absolutely decimated. I mean, they're demoralized, and they feel that what they do on a daily basis is to do that, to save lives. And this impact,
in sometimes very risky places.
Very risky, risking their own lives to save others. I mean, for them, they're being selfless. Okay. They're being led by purpose. So I think, you're seeing it's just an unprecedented territory where you are right now.
Vin Gómez, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you both very much.